Today, I thought I'd show you one of the most important things that you need to get in your financial journey. Obviously, working and saving is so important, but what's more important is the floor of income that you're going to most likely receive through Social Security. Now, before I start, if you find any of this interesting, if you've watched any of my other videos, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to point out my journey and things I find important through, as I've been working for 30 plus years and, moving into new chapters along the way, really providing my wisdom and guidance, or maybe not wisdom, but maybe some of the learning mistakes and experiences that I have. And this website is really important. I think when you're first starting your career, going to the SSA.gov website, I wouldn't have even thought about it. There are two main things that I've come to this website for, and I'm going to point them out. And obviously the second one that I'm pointing out is literally the most important thing, again, in your financial journey. So the first thing I want to point out is, and again, I'll put the link down in the description, is if you go to SSA.gov, you can create an account, and get your Social Security benefits. But the first thing I wanted to point out is, and I know I had an old Social Security card. It was ripped. I think actually when I first started my professional career, I laminated, which I think right on the back, it said do not laminate. I don't know why I did that, but you can come out here and request a new Social Security card. So I know I had done that and got a new one. I think you can even request to get duplicates, but obviously having a Social Security card, if you're going to get your license, if you're going to go get, different things, having that card is so important. But then the other reason is getting your benefit information for retirement. When you're first starting out, again, this was the last thing I even thought about. Obviously, I was thinking about working, how much money am I making, maybe putting some away. I mean, I was doing that. I knew you wanted to do that. But you knew that there is this thing called Social Security, but I never even thought at all on how much I'm going to bring in. So as you're going through your financial journey, easily when you're hitting your 30s or when you get married, there are certain aspects of going to this website and understanding the benefits of the Social Security statement is important for you and your family. You have, let me bring up a mock copy. So I'm not going to log in and show you mine. They do give you an example on here. So let me bring that up and I'll point some things out here. I do want to touch on before I start to show some of that stuff is, if you're using Bolden and putting in your income when you're retiring, not just putting in averages, but putting in what your Social Security statement says, that's important. Or if you're using Honest Math, this also has Social Security, and what ages that you're going to take the money at. So if you're using any of those retirement tools, they are asking you for your numbers. So going out to, SSA.gov, creating an account and getting your statement is important. So again, some of the other benefits besides getting your retirement number is, again, it gives you the survivor benefits. So those numbers are listed here. It has the disability benefits. So if you're ever concerned about that. And the one of the things that I do kind of find interesting is it should list all of your earnings through all the years. I know some people say to come out here, double check it. Your employer could make a mistake. What I find kind of interesting is this graph only goes to 2021, but up here they actually have that it's April 2025. I think that was a kind of a Social Security mistake. But Wanda Worker right here is the most important thing that I like, besides maybe some of these other benefits showing you in here, is it shows you what your benefits are. So it's not the average. This actually does look like the average because I believe the average around 67 is right around 2119. If you run any reports out there or search online, that is right around the average. But you can see the decrease that you're going to receive if you take Social Security early, or the benefit that you're going to receive in your Social Security benefit if you delay. So this is so important. Again, not only to understand, when you want to retire, how much income you want to receive, but this also could be important for survivor benefits. So survivor benefits are if both you and your spouse, again, this is not financial advice. This is just my own knowledge and my own experiences. So if one of you was collecting, let's say this 2119, and then maybe one of you, again, maybe this is a similar report from your spouse, maybe they took it at 1460. If one of you had passed away, you get the higher of the two. So, that's, when one of you passes away, of course. Now, you do get, this also does have, again, spousal benefits if they're not working and stuff like that as well. So, again, this is so critical for your financial future and financial journey that I think when you're turning, I at my age, running close to 53, I go out here once a year and I grab my new report. And then when I'm updating Bolden or one of the other tools that I've used in the past, I'm actually using my real numbers. Do I think when you're 21 or 22, you should be coming out here and getting this? I don't think it's that important. Again, this is just my own perspective. I think when you're hitting 35, definitely, as you're going through your 40s, understanding what these numbers are really could help prepare you for, your financial future. Because if you're only saving maybe 5% of your paycheck, or you're not saving at all, whatever number is in here, that's what you have to live off of. And again, this does not include, I believe, taking out Medicare Part A or Medicare Part B. You're still going to need to take that out as well. So I know I did a previous video of somebody that I knew that was collecting, and they were basically living off of, I think their Social Security payments were about $15,000, but then after Medicare Part A and B, I think they were closer to $12,000 or about $1,000 a month total. So please go out and get yours. Again, I will include the link. Have you gotten yours? Please drop it in the comments, right? Have you gone out there and seen the difference? Have you gotten your report? If you haven't, go get your report and maybe, come back and put a comment in and say, yes, thank you for putting it in there. So hope you found this interesting, and see you in the next one.